Every great accomplishment and breakthrough starts in the mind. Every transformational tale has its origins in a single choice, the decision to build a mentality. That coincides with development, persistence, and purpose. The way you think impacts the way you behave, which in turn dictates the outcomes you produce. A success-oriented attitude does not mean always being happy or dismissing problems. It is about addressing life with clarity, purpose, and the strength to continue going ahead. Even when faced with hurdles, your mentality sets the tone. According on how you perceive the world around you, some individuals take failures as warnings to quit. While some perceive them as lessons to learn, success is seen as something that occurs to a chosen few, while others comprehend that success is produced by purposeful decisions, consistent behaviors, and the willingness to venture outside of their comfort zones. The difference is not in ability or resources, but in perspective. A success-oriented attitude actively affects circumstances rather than just reacting to them. It views every problem as an opportunity, every setback as a stepping stone, and every day as a chance to progress. This attitude isn't something you're born with, it's something you acquire via a set of behaviors. Ideas and behaviors that, when combined, provide a foundation for long-term success. It's about acquiring the mental habits that successful individuals utilize to maintain concentration, resilience, and alignment with their aims. And although this may seem abstract, it is very practical. A success-oriented attitude doesn't only impact how you feel, but it also changes how you behave and influences the choices you make, the risks you take, and the commitment you bring to your endeavors. Over time, these modest everyday modifications in thinking accumulate to astonishing effects. The process starts with self-awareness. You cannot alter what you do not acknowledge. If you have limiting ideas, negative self-talk, or a rigid attitude, these ideas will keep you back, no matter how brilliant or hard-working you are. A success-oriented attitude needs you to analyze certain mental habits. To replace them with powerful ideas, you need to rethink the way you view yourself, your struggles, and your potential. This isn't about pretending everything is fine. It's about learning to recognize opportunities where others see challenges, solutions where others perceive setbacks. The beauty of this technique is that it is within your control. No one can change your mentality for you, and no one can stop you from changing it. The power is in your hands, and the more you apply these ideas, the more natural they become. Over time, you begin to notice how much effect your ideas and behaviors have on one another. Influence on your outcomes. The road of establishing a success-oriented mentality is not about obtaining perfection, but rather striving for growth. It's about developing habits that propel you ahead one step at a time, until success is more than just a destination. But a way of life is the first step in building a success-oriented attitude, is to take complete responsibility of your life. This is the basis on which all other facets of success are constructed. It's the attitude that says, no matter what occurs, I'm accountable for how I react, what I make, and how I progress. Ownership is not about blame or shame. It is about empowerment. It's the knowledge that, although you can't control everything that occurs to you, you can manage how you perceive and respond to it. This mental change turns you from a passive spectator of your life. When you take control, you become an active maker of your own future. Stop waiting for conditions to change and begin concentrating on what you can change. It's simple to cast fingers at external variables like your upbringing, surroundings, and economics. But none of those factors can limit your potential unless you let them. Ownership is about knowing that the outcomes you get are a reflection of the choices you make. The activities you do are about swapping excuses for responsibilities. employing responsibility as fuel for progress. This mentality starts with self-reflection. Look at the areas of your life where you feel trapped or unhappy. Rather of asking why this is happening to me, investigate what decisions or habits have contributed to this circumstance. This isn't about self-criticism, but about finding if you're unsatisfied with your career, you should look into the core problems and solve them. Consider if you've been aggressive in seeking prospects. Perhaps you've settled for what's comfortable if your connections seem strained. Think about whether you've spoken freely and consistently or avoided uncomfortable talks. Ownership is examining your participation in each circumstance and considering how you might take constructive action to change it. Another important part of ownership is getting rid of the victim perspective. It's easy to regard oneself as a victim of circumstances, particularly when life seems unjust. However, as long as you believe you are helpless, you will be trapped. Taking responsibility does not imply rejecting the existence of obstacles. Rather, it means refusing to allow those challenges define you. It is about changing your emphasis from what you cannot control to what you can. Instead of declaring "I can't achieve due of this difficulty," mention what actions I can take to navigate. Surmount this impediment. This adjustment in viewpoint opens the door to solutions and progress. Ownership involves accepting. It's easy to blame people for how you feel, but you should take responsibility for your feelings and behaviors. No one can control your emotions, regardless of your job, lover, or circumstances. When you take control of your sentiments, you know that they are molded by your interpretations, and you have the ability to reinterpret those interpretations. If someone criticizes you, you may either see it as an attack or as criticism that might help you improve. This does not imply concealing your feelings. It means recognizing them. Comprehend their cause and react intentionally. Rather than responding hastily, taking responsibility includes your time and efforts. Many individuals feel overwhelmed because they allow their schedules to be governed by others' demands and diversions. Setting limits and making conscious decisions about how you spend your time is what ownership entails. It entails saying no to things that do not correspond with your objectives, and yes to those that get you closer to your vision. This is not always simple, particularly if you're accustomed to pleasing others. However, it is crucial for developing a life of purpose and concentration. Another crucial facet of ownership is learning to accept failure as a normal part of the process. When you accept responsibility, you no longer perceive failure as something to dread or avoid. Instead of seeing it as a source of great lessons, you ask yourself what went wrong, what you can learn, and how you can improve going ahead. This approach transforms failures into stepping stones, building resilience over time. Stop being immobilized by the fear of making errors and start viewing every event as a chance to improve. Ownership entails acknowledging your accomplishments and accepting credit for your triumphs. Too frequently, individuals underestimate their accomplishments, attributing them to chance or other forces. When you take responsibility, you celebrate the work and decisions that led to your success. This boosts confidence and maintains the assumption that you have the ability to achieve the desired consequences. Taking responsibility is a daily discipline. It's not a one-time choice, but a habit you develop through constant effort. Every day, ask yourself what steps you can do today to get closer to your objectives. How can I approach issues in a manner that respects my beliefs and aspirations? By asking these questions and acting on the answers, you strengthen the habit of ownership. To develop momentum towards success, taking responsibility of your life is more than simply a step toward. The success-oriented attitude is the foundation of all personal development. Achievement is the mentality that states, "I am the author of my story." and I have the capacity to create a fresh chapter when you accept this fact. You access a level of clarity, empowerment, and drive that alters everything you accomplish. However, who you are, ownership is the basis around which all other success-oriented practices are constructed. It is the first step towards developing a life of purpose, development, and satisfaction. The second stage in developing a success-oriented attitude is to create a vision that motivates and leads you. Vision is what gives your life direction. It is the image you create. Consider the life you want to live, the person you want to be, and the effect you want to have. Without a vision, you're like a ship without a compass, drifting wherever the wind leads you. With a clear vision, each action choice and objective becomes meaningful. It affects your perspective by giving you something to strive for, something to believe in, and something to fight for. Vision is more than simply establishing objectives. It's about profoundly connecting with what really matters to you. It starts with asking yourself big questions. What do I want my life to look like in 5 years? In 10 or 20 years, who do I want to be? What legacy do I want to leave behind? These questions are not intended to terrify you. They are supposed to awaken you, reminding you that your life is a canvas. Once you wield the brush to paint a vision, you must first be clear about your ideals. Your values are the beliefs and priorities that drive your choices, and establish your sense of purpose, which are unique to you and represent what is most important in your life. For one individual, it may be family development and creativity. Another option may be freedom, contribution, and adventure. Take the time to determine your values, which will act as the basis. When your vision coincides with your principles, it becomes truly meaningful and sustainable. Once you have clarity on your principles, begin sketching a picture of your perfect existence. Imagine waking up every day feeling invigorated, satisfied, and eager about what lies ahead. Where are you? What are you doing? Who are you with? And how do you spend your time? Be as explicit as possible. The clearer your vision, the stronger it grows. This isn't simply wishful thinking, but a conscious process of defining what success means for you. Remember, success is personal. It is not about satisfying someone else's expectations, about pursuing society's concept of accomplishment. It is about establishing a life that aligns with your beliefs and objectives. A strong vision doesn't merely inspire you. It challenges you, expands your creativity, and motivates you to develop. It should feel exhilarating yet a bit daunting, since it represents the greatest version of you. When your vision seems too tiny or too secure, it means you aren't soaring high enough. Give yourself permission to dream large. Don't restrict your vision depending on where you are now. Your existing circumstances do not determine your potential. They are only the starting point. One of the most significant characteristics of eyesight is its capacity to direct your judgments. When presented with options, your vision acts as a compass. Ask yourself, does this match with my vision? Does this get me closer to the life I want to create? If the answer is no, it is easy to say no to distractions. Your vision simplifies your life by removing chances that do not benefit you and behaviors that keep you back. Because it defines your priorities, a vision is not static, but changing. As you develop and mature, your vision could shift. That's okay. It's a sign that you're discovering more about yourself and what you desire. The idea is to periodically examine and develop your vision to ensure that it still resonates with you. Take time each year or even every month to reflect on your vision and evaluate whether it still matches with your beliefs and ambitions. This technique maintains your vision alive and makes it a source of motivation. Visualization is a powerful tool for internalizing your vision. Visualization is the technique of mentally rehearsing the ideal future. Close your eyes and envision yourself experiencing your vision, seeing the intricacies. Feel the feelings and get a sense of success and contentment. Visualization prepares your mind to believe in your vision and do actions that match it. It's not simply a cerebral exercise, it's a tool for training your subconscious. Working for your objectives is another important component of vision, is the ability it has to drive you throughout stressful times. There will be periods when the route becomes difficult, when failures challenge your willpower and doubts sneak in. Your vision becomes your anchor in such times, reminding you of why you began, what you're striving toward, and why it's worth battling through the hurdles. A clear and appealing vision may revive your enthusiasm and keep you going ahead. Even if the road seems challenging, expressing your vision with others may magnify its strength. When you express your vision to individuals you trust, it becomes more realistic. It fosters responsibility and encourages help. You do not have to walk the trip alone. Surround yourself with individuals who support your goal and inspire you to pursue it. These individuals become your allies and remind you of your potential. To help you keep on track, your vision should not just concentrate on external successes. However, what traits do you wish to portray as a person? What habits would you want to cultivate? How would you like to develop emotionally, intellectually, and spiritually? A success-oriented attitude isn't simply about doing, but about being. When your vision incorporates personal development, you guarantee that success is comprehensive and lasting. Creating a vision is a lifetime process. It's about keeping connected to your mission and enabling your vision to change with you. It's about waking up every day with a feeling of direction and letting that direction drive your activities. Choices and efforts. A compelling vision affects your perspective, because it switches your attention from where you are to where you're going. It reminds you that the best is yet to come, and that each step you take brings you closer. The third stage in developing a success-oriented attitude is to visualize the life you want, is to build resilience in the face of hardship. Life will undoubtedly present obstacles in your way. How you react to unanticipated setbacks, criticism, disappointments, and times of self-doubt. What distinguishes those who succeed from those who fall short? Resilience is not only about surviving, it is about flourishing in the face of uncertainty. Using adversities as fuel for progress, resilience starts with how you perceive adversity. Some individuals regard impediments as a stop sign, while others see them as a diversion on the path to their objective. Successful individuals recognize that setbacks are not permanent, but transient. When something goes wrong, it might teach us vital lessons. They stop, ponder, and ask, what can I learn from this? How can I improve as a result of this? This viewpoint transforms the story from one of victimization to one of empowerment. Your capacity to resist from problems is critical to establishing resilience. Instead than perceiving failures as evidence of inferiority, consider them proof that you're trying. Experimenting and learning, every unsuccessful effort teaches us something. If you're prepared to seek for it, this approach may transform disappointment into data, a source of learning for what to do better next time. Resilient individuals do not just bounce back from failure. They go ahead, equipped with fresh knowledge and renewed drive. Resilience involves emotional mastery when challenged by hardship. It's easy to feel overwhelmed by irritation, dread, and even despair. However, people who develop resilience learn to successfully regulate their emotions. This does not imply repressing or dismissing how you feel. Rather, it involves admitting your feelings, without allowing them to govern your behavior. Resilient individuals take time to examine their emotions. After they have digested their feelings, they concentrate their efforts on seeking answers. Instead than concentrating on the issue, One key component of resilience is grit, the resolve to continue going even when the road is steep. Grit is not about blind persistence, but about intellectual perseverance. Resilient individuals understand when to change their methods, pivot their approach, or seek assistance. However, they never lose sight of their ultimate purpose. They recognize that success is seldom linear, and that the capacity to endure and adapt is frequently more essential than any one win that developing resilience requires. Increasing your sense of purpose when you're genuinely committed to what you're doing. You're less inclined to quit up when things become rough. The purpose functions as a North Star, leading you through the storms of uncertainty and telling you that the battle is worthwhile. Resilient individuals often reassess their objective. This clarity of purpose propels their determination. It keeps them grounded. Another important part of resilience is the ability to accept suffering. Growth and comfort cannot coexist. Resilient individuals recognize this, which is why they actively seek challenges that expand their talents. They take on things that worry them, engage in tough talks, and enter unknown circumstances. By consistently pushing themselves beyond of their comfort zones, individuals build the mental and emotional resilience required. To deal with adversity when it happens, your environment plays an important influence in your resilience. Surrounding oneself with positive, supportive, and ambitious individuals may make a huge impact. Resilient individuals actively create connections with others that inspire and push them to improve. They know how to create boundaries with poisonous influences and recognize that the energy they accept into their life affects their capacity to remain strong and focused. Resilience is not about doing things alone. It is about knowing when to seek support. Many individuals suffer in quiet, believing that asking for help is a sign of weakness. In actuality, receiving advice from others is a strength, and resilient individuals aren't scared to rely on their support systems. They understand that strength multiplies when shared. Self-care is essential to resilience. It's tough to remain strong in the face of hardship if you're physically, psychologically, or emotionally exhausted. Resilient individuals prefer activities that replenish their energy. They realize that self-care is not indulgence, but preparedness. Taking care of oneself ensures that they can handle obstacles with clarity and calm. Finally, resilience relies on an attitude of thankfulness and perspective. When confronted with setbacks, it is natural to concentrate on what's wrong. However, resilient individuals balance this by reflecting on what is still going correctly. They take stock of their blessings, strengths, and previous wins, utilizing them as reminders that people can overcome misfortune. Gratitude transforms the perspective from scarcity to plenty, creating a feeling of optimism and opportunity even in terrible circumstances. Resilience is not something you are born with. It is a skill that you build through practice, thought, and deliberate action. Every obstacle you experience is a chance to strengthen your resilience muscles. Every time you choose to endure, avoid a setback, or accept suffering, you build your capacity to flourish under hardship over time, and this resilience develops distinguishing feature of your success-oriented attitude, helping you to weather any storm and emerge stronger on the other side. The fourth stage to building a success-oriented mentality is to establish an unwavering conviction in your abilities to grow and progress. This idea is sometimes referred to as a growth mentality and is one of the most effective tools. In your quest to achievement, you may create a growth mentality, knowing that your talents, intellect, and skills are not fixed attributes. They may be created with work, study, and perseverance. This idea transforms how you handle obstacles, failures, and chances, and it is a distinguishing feature of individuals who accomplish success. A development mentality begins by realizing that failure is not the inverse of success. It's part of the process. Successful individuals don't fear failure because they view it as a chance to grow. They recognize that every mistake teaches a lesson and that every setback is an opportunity to improve their approach when you accept failure as a stepping stone. Rather than a stumbling obstacle, you allow yourself to take chances, try new things, and push beyond your comfort zone. This approach necessitates an adjustment in how you perceive effort. Many people regard effort as a sign of weakness or incompetence, as if having to work hard implies you're not competent. Or skilled but successful individuals see effort as a means to mastery. They do not avoid hard work. Rather, they embrace it because they understand that constant effort leads to progress. They recognize that skill may give you a good start, but work is what maintains success in the long run. Curiosity is another important aspect of a development mindset, since it motivates you to ask questions. Seeking new information and exploring diverse views helps you stay open to learning. Successful individuals are lifelong learners, which keeps them from getting static. They don't presume they know everything. They're eager to learn what they don't know. Rather than avoiding adversity, a development mindset alters your perspective on obstacles. You view it as a chance to expand and develop. Consider this when you exercise weights. The resistance is what grows your muscles, and the same goes for obstacles. The problems you confront need you to adapt, invent, and endure. They reveal abilities you didn't realize you had, and teach you talents you may never have gained. Otherwise, when you tackle obstacles with a development attitude, they become possibilities, not threats. One of the most transforming components of a development mindset is its impact on your relationship with feedback. Feedback may be tough to hear since it often emphasizes areas that you need to better. However, successful individuals do not shy away from constructive criticism. They accept it because they realize that feedback is a gift. It is a mirror that tells you where you're doing well and where you may improve. Instead of taking critique personally, they utilize it as fuel for progress. This perspective changes how you see others' achievements. With a stuck mentality, someone else's accomplishment may make you feel resentful or inadequate, as if their achievement lessens yours, but in a growing attitude. You perceive others' successes as motivation. You recognize that their achievement does not detract from your potential. Rather, it shows you what is achievable. This approach promotes a feeling of plenty rather than scarcity, promoting cooperation and mutual support. Developing a development mentality requires modifying the language you use with yourself. Words are powerful, and how you say to yourself influences your beliefs and behaviors. Replace statements like, "I am not good at this," with, "I am not good at this yet." Add that, and a fixed belief becomes a possibility. It reminds you that your existing talents are not your end goal. They are only the beginning point. A development mindset encourages you to confront your limiting beliefs. These are the myths you tell yourself about what you can and cannot achieve. Perhaps you think you're not clever enough, not talented or fortunate enough to achieve, yet these ideas are not reality. Successful individuals critically analyze their views, determining if they are founded on facts or fear, and when they discover that a belief is holding them back, they replace it with one that encourages them to build a growth attitude. Surround yourself with individuals that exemplify this style of thinking. Find people who push you to improve. People appreciate your success and share your dedication to ongoing growth. The people you spend time with have a big influence on your thinking. Choose those that raise you up. Instead of holding you back, cultivating thankfulness is another approach to foster a development mentality. Gratitude turns your emphasis from what you lack to what you have, producing a feeling of plenty and opportunity. It reminds you of your development, the chances you've had, and the lessons you've learned. This viewpoint makes it simpler to remain motivated and resilient even when the road becomes difficult. Developing a development mentality does not happen overnight. It's a daily discipline to challenge old routines and embrace fresh viewpoints. Committing to your own improvement demands patience and effort, and a willingness to be uncomfortable at times, but the benefits are enormous. When you trust in your own potential to improve, you get a feeling of independence and empowerment. With a development mentality, you no longer perceive success as something reserved for the naturally skilled or very fortunate. You believe it is within your grasp if you are ready to work for it. This concept changes the way you approach every element of your life, including your profession and relationships. Personal growth is much more than simply obtaining achievement. It's about being the kind of person who can achieve achievement regardless of the conditions. The fifth stage in creating a success-oriented attitude is to cultivate the habit of taking consistent, targeted action. While attitude influences how you view the world, action is what makes your vision a reality. A success-oriented attitude without action is like a vehicle without gasoline. It may seem wonderful, but it will not get you anywhere. The genuinely successful recognize this, regardless of how much they plan. Prepare or visualize that the everyday acts you conduct will eventually decide your outcomes. Clear objectives are the first step toward consistent action. You need to know precisely what you're striving for. Nebulous ideals like, "I want to be successful" or "happy" don't offer enough guidance. Successful individuals cut down their ambitions into clear, quantifiable targets. They ask themselves what success looks like, how it feels, and what actions will get them closer to it. This clarity serves as a compass, directing their behaviors and keeping them on target. Once the goal is known, the attention switches to the trip. Successful individuals don't simply focus about huge, daring acts. They recognize that little, consistent acts are often more potent than random spurts of effort. It is not about achieving everything at once, but rather about doing the correct things on a regular basis. They establish routines and systems that support their aims, transforming their dreams into habits that become part of their everyday life. Procrastination is one of the most significant hurdles to taking regular action. Everyone deals with it at some point. The temptation to put off what has to be done in favor of what seems simpler or more fun in the moment. Successful individuals develop strategies to reduce procrastination, include breaking activities into smaller, manageable stages, make it easy to get started. They establish deadlines even for activities without external pressure, providing a feeling of urgency and responsibility. Before taking action, they employ another tool called visualization. They visualize the objective they wish to reach, and mental rehearsal not only enhances motivation, but prepares their minds for achievement. By clearly picturing the results of their work, they build a feeling of enthusiasm and purpose. That pulls them onward. Successful individuals recognize the value of prioritization. They don't spend time on projects that don't correspond with their objectives. Instead, they devote their resources to high-impact initiatives that move the needle and make substantial progress. They ask themselves what is the most essential thing they can accomplish today, to progress their aims, and that is their focus. This concentration guarantees that their efforts are not just constant, but also successful. Taking action requires resilience, since not all efforts provide instant benefits. There will be failures, roadblocks, and times of uncertainty. Nevertheless, successful individuals do not allow these problems stop them. They see setbacks as transient and turn them into chances to learn and adapt. They recognize that tenacity is sometimes the difference between success and failure, So they maintain going ahead even when progress seems sluggish, which is an important component of taking constant action. Manages your energy, not just your time. Successful individuals understand that energy is a scarce resource and utilize it wisely. They plan their most challenging duties for when they are at their peak. They make time for relaxation and recuperation because they understand that persistent effort demands balance. Burnout is the enemy of consistency. Thus, they take active measures to prevent it. Another characteristic of constant activity is the capacity to adapt. No plan is flawless and no trip goes precisely as intended. Successful individuals maintain flexibility, altering their approach as required while keeping their final aim in sight. They do not perceive diversions as failures, but as part of the process. This versatility enables them to sustain momentum even when conditions alter. Accountability is important in maintaining consistency, and successful individuals discover strategies to keep themselves accountable, responsible. Some individuals can accomplish this on their own. Others locate accountability partners, mentors, or coaches. Knowing that another person is aware of their obligations might add an extra layer of drive to follow through. The strength of constant activity rests in the compounding impact. Each tiny step you take builds on the one before it, building momentum that moves you ahead. Over time, these small efforts lead to enormous effects. This is the notion of the compound effect, which states that little disciplined activities repeated consistently over time. Successful individuals trust this process, which leads to exponential development. Even when progress seems sluggish or undetectable in the moment, taking action involves overcoming fear. Fear of failure, fear of judgment, and even fear of achievement. These worries may immobilize you if you let them, but successful individuals don't wait for the dread to go away. They act despite it, reminding themselves that bravery is not the absence of fear. It is the willingness to go ahead in the face of it, each time they take action despite their anxieties. They increase confidence and resilience, making it simpler to act the following time. Celebrating little accomplishments is another way successful individuals maintain consistency. They do not wait till they've reached their final aim to recognize their efforts. Instead, they celebrate milestones along the road and reinforce their success. Keeping their motivation strong, these festivities do not have to be lavish. A simple recognition of work or a moment of thankfulness may drive the path. Taking continuous and focused action is not about perfection. It's about turning up every day and doing your best. It is about realizing that every step forward, no matter how tiny, puts you closer to your objective. It is about establishing a rhythm and momentum that makes advancement unavoidable. When you commit to persistent action, you develop a success-oriented attitude. It produces results and affects your life. Success is not a question of chance, luck, or ephemeral opportunity. It is an intentional consequence resulting from the habits, actions, and attitudes you develop daily every day. At its foundation, a success-oriented attitude is not only about reaching external objectives, but being the kind of person that produces success as a result of their actions and beliefs. It's an attitude that allows you to handle problems and grasp opportunities. What makes this mentality so revolutionary is the ability to consistently develop into your potential, is its capacity to transform the way you connect with life. It takes you from being reactive to proactive. From waiting for success to creating it, there's a viewpoint that states, every hurdle teaches you something, every choice molds your destiny, and every day is a chance to become a bit better than you were yesterday. This approach does not just concentrate on the goal, it thrives on the process of taking tiny, deliberate moves toward a broader objective. A success-oriented attitude focuses on aligning your thinking. By aligning your behaviors and ideals with your objectives, you may work smarter rather than simply harder. Keeping your efforts focused on what genuinely important is what keeps you grounded when life seems crazy, and what keeps you motivated when the journey ahead appears uncertain. It reminds you that success is something you embody. Perhaps the most astonishing aspect of establishing this attitude is its accessibility. It does not need unique skill, tremendous riches, or ideal conditions. It involves a commitment to commit to progress, accept difficulties, and adopt to take complete responsibility for your life. You must be ready to perform the necessary effort, must be consistent, and to trust the process even when progress seems sluggish. Most significantly, it involves conviction in your own power to build a life that reflects. When you take the time to cultivate success, you may achieve your greatest objectives. Focused mentality. You are not just setting yourself up for external successes. You're laying the groundwork for a life of purpose, satisfaction, and resilience. You're giving yourself the skills to handle the inevitable ups and downs with grace and drive. And you're generating a ripple effect, motivating people around you to realize their potential. Furthermore, every day is a fresh opportunity to cultivate this approach. Every choice, challenge, and action you take is a chance to identify more fully with the person you want to become. Success is not a single defining event, but the culmination of several minor ones. Lives with purpose, and when you accept this fact, you realize that the life you've been dreaming of is not as far away as it seemed. It's waiting for you to take it one step, one habit, and one mentality at a time.